Today we're talking about something that quietly kills great initiative. It's not bad strategy. It's not lazy teams. It's lack of belief.
If you got a great idea, you want it to work, the less you communicate it, the less it's going to be executed, and the less that people are going to believe in it.
When you as a leader do what you say you're going to do and you develop a history of that, people will trust you. Welcome to the 3PXO. Before I introduce, hey, this is a new season and all that, let me just say, you don't want to miss this episode. So hang tight because most leaders think that they have an execution problem, but they don't. What you actually have is a belief problem because great ideas don't die when people can't do the work. Great ideas die when people don't fully believe in the work.
Right.
So a lot of the execution issues, I would challenge most of the execution issues that you're probably having in your business stem from a lack of belief, not a lack of accountability or execution or, general things like that. So hang around for us to get into all that kind of stuff. But that being said, dude, we've been doing this for a full year.
We have, yeah. You're number one down. We're on
That's
episode 2. I mean, not episode 2, season 2, episode 1. That's quite an accomplishment. They say that the typical podcast doesn't go past 10 podcasts.
10 episodes?
10 episodes.
This is officially our 26th
episode.
episode.
How about that?
But we're kind of starting over. Episode 1.
Yeah, we're episode
Season
1,
2.
But season 2. That's it. It's like your favorite. Was it your favorite Netflix show or something? Of course, they don't do 25 shows.
Did we leave them a good cliffhanger last episode for the first season?
I'm sure we left some
did.
good shows, though. We had some, like the last ones, 24, 25, I think were pretty impactful.
Yeah.
Those were good.
I agree.
Yeah.
And welcome, as always.
Yep.
The 3PX sign.
Yep, we got a great, it's all new. How about that?
And the 4 walls.
The 4 walls that, if you start seeing us getting a little dizzy, moving around, that's okay.
I'm feeling it.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm trying not to feel it. I'm looking around a little bit. I've got an outlet. So.
If you see me looking down, it's not just because I have my notes here. It's because I'm trying to let my eyes recalibrate.
Yeah.
We're going to have to we'll add some more decorations here. But when I look at Wayne, all I see is like lines moving behind
right.
him.
Yeah, I don't even start talking about that because I'll start looking at it as well.
It's good. For those of you listening on your Apple device, on Spotify or Amazon or something, you're like, what in the world are they talking about? You're missing out on a whole experience.
If you're just listening, you need to open it up and look at the YouTube version of it and see you see the walls. You might even be able to look at it, watch it, and like, ooh, man, it's messing me.
I can't wait to watch it, and if I start tripping while I'm watching it. But hey, regardless, we're really glad that you're here. We love doing this. This is probably. I don't want to make anybody else offended, like we just talked about, but this is a very authentic podcast. Like, we're not trying to do this. We're not trying to talk about things that we think will get people clicks or get us clicks. We're not doing this because we feel like, man, we just want to say the things that we think are going to get more views. Like, we're really sharing things that we have been through, that we're going through, that we feel like are going to add value to viewers and to listeners in your business, in your life, your personal life, whatever that may be. So for those of you that have been watching our episodes or listening to our episodes, hey, we appreciate you coming along on the journey, and we'd love to interact with you. And I'm just fired up to start another season, man. This is fun, and I look forward to this.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to be, like I'm going to play off what you just said because it's not only the value that hopefully that we can bring to others. The biggest thing is, honestly, it brings a lot of value to us when we're talking about it because it just kind of reminds us to stay grounded, to keep doing what we're doing and how we're doing it. But again, it's like Steve said, it's not about clicks. I can't even tell you how many clicks that we've got and how many episodes people have downloaded and all that. I mean, I don't keep up with those numbers. We just get up here and it's something fun to do. We feed off each other well, and it works. So excited about it.
We are up to like 18 countries now, though.
Okay. Well, that's probably half my family that's all overseas.
Well, we know who's in London.
Yeah, we know who's in London.
And maybe South Africa.
South Africa. We got those 2 countries covered.
But but we are in several countries, which is pretty cool. And but we're just going to keep doing this because it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a P&L drag.
It could be just a little bit, yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to have something in your life that you really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And so if somebody, when people used to ask me like, hey, what's your hobby? What do you enjoy doing? Sometimes it was hard to think about that stuff, but I can honestly say like, this is something that I enjoy doing. We only do it once a month. Our recordings, we record, dirty little secret, we record 2 episodes a day.
Wow, dude. You just
My
told
bad.
everything.
I know. But this is a fun hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Steve's such a introvert. This really helps his outlet. So this has been really good for him.
And we get to hang out with Quentin.
We do. Hey, guess what? Hey, congratulations, Quentin.
Oh,
we can say it now.
We can?
Yes.
Congratulations,
yes,
Quentin.
Exactly.
Quentin.
You thought I just messed up, didn't you?
Well, I'm like, we can edit it later. Quentin and Bonnie are having a baby. I don't know how much of Quentin's life, he shares on social media and Bonnie, but they have this. The story of this journey is amazing. What they've gone through is inspiring for anyone who is, I don't want to share a story. All I'm going to say is we probably need to have Quentin just one of these days, just talk about it.
He can sit
but
here
it's
in the
inspiring. It's a story of faith. It's a story of mourning and sorrow turning to joy. So all we can say is we are excited for Quentin and Bonnie. Yep. We're on their team, man, and we love them. And I'm excited that to welcome that baby when that baby comes here.
Yep.
I can't remember if it's a boy or girl. That's why I'm stumbling. It's a boy. When
boy.
he gets here,
yeah,
fired up. That kid's going to be well taken care of. I can promise you that.
So it makes it fun, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're fired up. Now Quentin's going to have to go and post more on social media because people want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. All right. Okay. As I always say, enough of that. Back to why we're here. Okay. So welcome back to the 3PX show. We love you. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining on this journey. And if you're new here, hey, this is the first episode. You got a whole other 25 episodes you can check out of the first season. You don't even have to watch them all. Find one that resonates with you, a topic that resonates with you, and check that one out. But today, I think this is an impactful episode for us, Wayne, because this is the beginning of season 2. Right. We just moved into a new facility. We've just launched this new website, and this is a time where, with all of that change, you need to establish a foundation. Where do you start? And in my opinion, everything starts with belief. People got to believe. They got to know where we're headed, why we're headed there. So I think this episode and the next episode, we're going to talk about operationalizing that belief. I think this is a perfect place for us to start, man, because this is really square one.
Yeah. Well, the buy-in is so important in anything that you do. But in our phase right now, it's critical. It's monumental. If we didn't have that, we would not have had the success that we've had. I mean, think about the things that we've been able to do, the moves and how the transitions have been, be honest with you, very smooth. Our team has done an extremely good job of getting it done. The ones that have had to move and play musical chairs because we had to move different departments at a time so we could tear down and do all that. And that's just small things, right? But that's part of the belief. That's part of the buy-in. That's part of the, hey, how we're going to do things. And people have just been on board with us the whole time. They and coming over here and everybody being under one roof look at the joy. I think morale is at an all-time high right now. People are excited and they love the direction that we're going and how we're doing it. And it's a fun time.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, that comes from belief.
Yeah.
It's belief in our core focus, belief in our core values, and belief in our vision.
Exactly.
That's what drives execution for us. So
we got a wall full of belief on the front entrance up there too.
I would love to share that. We'll get a picture and Quentin can share it.
Have you got up there? Yeah, Quentin's got to get there.
We're going to get a ladder.
You got to get a ladder.
Because now it's you either got to be 2 years old all the way down at the bottom, or you got to be 6'10" to sign the very top.
I don't know if he can still sign the very top, even at 6'10".
Ladder.
A ladder, okay, yeah.
He needs a ladder. I bet I could reach that top.
You probably, well, I know I couldn't.
Don't challenge me on something like that.
I may have to challenge you. You hurt your back again.
So today we're talking about something that quietly kills great initiatives inside what looks like an otherwise healthy organization or healthy companies. And that is, it's not bad strategy. It's not lazy teams. It's lack of belief.
Right.
So I've been reading this book lately, and I feel like this feeling was crystallized really, really well in what the author said. They said great ideas don't die because execution fails. They die because owners fail to generate belief and buy-in to new concepts.
That's pretty powerful.
Dude.
That is. That's really good.
That was one where there I was in the gym.
I think that's when you texted me
listening.
saying,
I'm listening
rewind.
to the book, and I'm like working out. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's good. I stop. I like rewind. I'm opening my phone, listening. Anyways, but it was really good. So if
that's one of those aha moments, though, right? That's one of those that just everything's going good, and then you hear something or you read something or whatever it is, and it's just like that. It's so powerful that you have to go back and listen to it again, and then just soak it in and then it can change the direction, change the course for the entire company.
And the reason why it resonated with me, I think, and hit me so hard is because you and then I with you, and then kind of after you, we have done a great job, I feel like, crystallizing vision, core focus, core values, what we're doing, where we're going, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
Well, when I'm going through that book and I'm reading, what kind of hit me was we have gotten so deep now into operational execution and lining things up and accountability and all that we haven't done a good job going back and reminding people of this is the vision. This is, beyond our core focus, but this is what we're going after, because we've got people who've been here. Well, first of all, like 90% of the company was hired after me.
Yeah.
Right. But we have people who've been here 6 months, a year, and they haven't gotten the years of culture and communication and all that kind of stuff. So I felt like this was the perfect time for us to recrystallize the vision for the companies, recast exactly who we are and why we're doing this. No better time than right here.
Yeah.
Right now.
And that's one of those things that you have to continue to do, because if you don't, continue to say your vision and talk about it, there's so many new people that are coming, and as more you grow, the more people you add. It's a constant thing that you have to continue to let everyone know what that vision is, and even the older folks too. Just because, if you don't talk about it enough, it gets easily forgotten, and then you move on to something, and you're all you have to do is just make a small degree turn in your rudders, and next thing you know, the ship's 10 miles off course.
Yeah, yeah. Belief, just like culture. But belief and culture are living, breathing organisms.
Yeah.
And if you are not constantly, every day, feeding, watering, caring, nurturing, all of that, they will die real fast.
Yeah.
So this was just a great reminder. So if you've ever rolled something out and you knew it was the right move, only to watch it stall out after you rolled it out or quietly fade, into the background, this episode is for you right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into more of that. And because what's the saying? There's lots of, you drive by a graveyard and it's full of great ideas.
I thought you drive by a graveyard. What I always say is everybody's dying to get in. I'm sorry.
Just when you thought we were turning over a new leaf, I could be dying to get out. So
that was so wrong.
My apologies if you're listening or watching and you had a loved one that's passed away recently. On behalf of the Forward companies, the Foreman family, the Kincanon family, we're deeply sorry.
We are. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
Okay. So with that said,
the beauty of editing.
Yes.
Just kidding. That stays. All right. So when something doesn't move, the issue is leaders. We all do this naturally. We diagnose the issue as execution. It's an execution problem, right?
Yeah.
That's what our natural default is. We need better execution. People aren't listening. They're not doing this. But execution is rarely, if ever, the first point of failure.
Right.
Most teams, they're not stuck because they can't execute. They're stuck because they're uncertain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big difference. When a team isn't sure, not about what they're supposed to do, but why they're doing it, that's when ambiguity gets in, and that's when you start to lose execution, man.
Yeah, we've had that problem at different times and stages where we are. When we're trying to execute something out in the warehouse, in the shop, or production operations, and it can be sales. It doesn't matter, but so one of those where the team they get stuck because they're unsure, right? Which we just talked about. So the execution part of it, they don't know and they know the right answer, because we've talked to them before and different things. It's like, why don't we do this? Well, that's what I thought we should do. But it delays because they don't have that belief, or they're unsure and uncertain of it, and their idea is like, well, maybe do nothing rather than do something, and they already knew the right idea in the first place.
Without question, belief elevates execution.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
Like it's belief is just like culture. Belief is leverage.
Yeah,
it increases capacity. It's a force multiplier. It's an execution multiplier. But the opposite is also true. I don't believe it's like a 1-to-1 correlation. Belief is 2x, 3x, 4x.
right.
But it's also true in the opposite direction. When there isn't belief, it's a negative 2x, negative 3x.
Yeah.
This is major leverage inside of an organization. Belief is either a major catalyst or it's a major hindrance, period.
Right. And it's all about the communication with the team, because if you got a great idea, you want it to work, the less you communicate it, the less it's going to be executed, and the less that people are going to believe in it, right? And so if you get that belief, you get that buy-in on the front end, and you really have everybody on board, and because you can feel it. Those are things that you can feel, especially when you've in a sense over communicated it, to make sure that everybody believes in what we're doing. Because if you're communicating something and they don't believe it, I mean, most of us can see that if we're in tune with what we're doing, unless we have an idea that we believe in sometimes so much and nobody else does, but we're so like, this is it.
Yeah.
And we just, and then you turn around after it falls and you're like, why didn't people believe in that? And then you can just start seeing behind you and like, okay, if I'd have seen it, if I wouldn't been so caught up in that moment, I would have seen it better. So
it's like if you've ever seen the video of the individual, they're on like a jet ski, and it looks like the jet ski out on this open lake and this beautiful scene, and it looks like the jet ski is not moving.
Yeah.
The lake is crystal clear. Quentin's probably playing a video right now while I'm describing this of it. The lake is crystal clear, right? And then the camera starts to turn to the back, and you see behind the person, they are flying.
Yeah.
And the wake behind the jet ski is just
it's
crazy.
Moving. Yeah.
That's what leaders see.
Yeah.
Leaders see strategy, but teams experience disruption.
Yeah.
That's why communication and creating belief is so important, because you need your teams to be able to turn away from the wake that they're feeling.
Yeah.
And they need to be able to see that crystal clear, beautiful water out front. Yeah. They can't see it back there.
Everybody, I mean, hey, if you've been on a jet ski before, I can visualize that big time. But, everybody wants to be a part of that and be on it, because that's the fun part. That's the part that just glides. That's the part that you can actually go faster. But when you start hitting that where it's real wakey, and there's a lot of things out in the water, and it's just a lot of waves, you got to slow the thing down big time. And it it beats you to death at that point. And that's what the team feels sometimes if they don't see the actual vision ahead of them. That's a very good point that you made. That's a good illustration. But that's, because a lot of times everybody's just back there in the carnage in a sense, and they're seeing all the waves, and they're getting beat up, and they don't truly see the smooth water that's ahead. Yeah. And you got to see that.
People don't resist execution. They resist uncertainty. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about is there's going to be a wake. When you have change, when you're moving forward, when you're trying to operate and execute, when you're moving into a new facility, when you're changing out systems, when you're moving desks, and you got people sitting in one spot for 2 weeks, then another spot for 2 weeks, then they got to move again. Like, that's all wake, right? You can mitigate that. You can try to keep that down, but at the end of the day, people are going to operate in a lot of wake.
Right.
But they will tolerate that. They'll power through that. They'll work through it. They'll grind it out. They'll stay positive even in that wake if they can see what's out in front.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why communicating the belief is so important, man. People, Like I come in this morning, shout out to T Pool, to Trevin. I walk in this morning, 6 a.m. He doesn't have to be here early.
Yeah.
That dude's in here super early before anybody else in the office, and he is just banging out work.
Yeah.
And I'm not, now obviously because he's highly committed, but Trevin sees where we're going, what we're trying to accomplish. I believe he's bought into the belief of what we're trying to do, and he's willing to just power through the wake.
Yeah.
And I love that about him and about several other, people around here.
Yeah.
But you got to show them the crystal clear water out front.
Well, you got to show them that too. But and when they see, if they get in the chance and they can see the out front, and they can see the vision, they can believe in it and buy into it. If it's smooth waters and things are really flying and going in the right direction, that wake is in unison. It actually, the wake is smooth as well because it flows with everything else. Even though sometimes you can be, if you look in the wrong direction, it can feel like turbulence. But if you get aligned with the way the vessel's going and everything's going in the right movement, the back part of that wake, the center part, is just as smooth as the front part.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get into that, if they're on the outskirts and they're not really believing it, they're getting beat up the whole time all the way. It doesn't matter if you got in smooth water or not. But if you get behind and you're inside of the wake, because the wake makes a big V, and if you get in that middle part right behind, and you see and you're buying into the vision and you're going in the same direction with the team, because sometimes you have teams that don't communicate well and everybody's going in different directions. But if you get everybody aligned and they're going with the boat or with whatever your ship kind of thing, that wake and behind it is some of the smoothest water as well. Even if it's choppy out front, that water in the behind can be super smooth. So if that makes sense,
that does make sense. I'm visualizing right. What you want to be inside that wake, riding that wave.
Because you can be just as smooth there, but if you get on the outside, it can still be rough because the wake's going away and going out, and it's just making a big V. But if you stay right behind, which is where we want our team, hey, let's get tight and let's make sure that we're really good and aligned and we're all focused and looking in the same direction. And then everybody gets to ride that good wave, right? That everybody gets to ride that real nice smooth water because things are flowing the way you want them to. So that's just part of execution. That's part of everybody buying in. That's part of the whole team and enjoying what we get to make the vision and laying it out. But of course, we got to execute it with our team.
Well, if you've been listening or watching this podcast long enough, we might meander around a little bit for a while, but we're going to get to like tips and tricks and player tips, and we're going to talk about how you operationalize some of this stuff, and so we're going to get into that. But I want to talk about 4 levels of buy-in, because the problem here is a lot of leaders believe, well, I sent an email, right?
Yeah,
I sent a Teams message, I posted about this. Why isn't this happening? That is not the way buy-in works, all right? There's kind of 4 stages to buy-in. And the first stage is, all right, I heard it. And they heard it because you announced it. You sent an email, you had a state of the company address, you posted about it, you did something, right? So folks heard it. But then the next level is they understand it. And that's where the team member says, look, I get the logic.
Yeah.
And in order for people to get to, I get it, I understand it, I get the logic, there has to be a back and forth. Just because you sent an email and someone reads it, a lot of times that can create more confusion than it can clarity, unless you give people the platform or the opportunity to have a conversation with you and ask questions,
right,
so that they understand. So level 2, where people understand it, has to be a dialogue.
Yeah.
It can't just be this one-way communication. I sent the email, okay? So you're doing your announcement, but I would really encourage you, whenever you're talking about this kind of stuff, you've got to do it in a way where people feel comfortable, where they can raise their hand and ask questions. Player tip on that. Stage questions, okay? So if I'm in a room or I'm talking to people where I don't think that they're going to be comfortable asking questions, before the meeting, I will go to 2 or 3 people and I'll say, hey, when I ask for questions, I want you to raise your hand and I want you to ask this certain question, all that. So you can plant people to ask questions, and then that gets other people usually comfortable asking questions. So that's a little player tip. But then the third phase is, after you get through that, that's when people say, I get it. I believe this and I trust this will work, right? I've heard it. I get the logic. Now I believe and I understand. After that, now you got ownership.
Yeah.
I am the fourth level. I am committed to this. I hear it. I understand. I understand it. I believe in this. Now I am committed to this.
Right.
But you can't go from announcing it to I am committed to this.
Right.
That is not the way it works. But that's what most leaders do, right? So most leaders, they stop right at that first or second level and then wonder why execution never really shows up in the business. But you can't demand commitment from the people who don't yet believe in what you're doing. And how many times have we heard this, man? Either in some form or fashion, they should just do what I ask them to do. They should just do what I tell them to do. I'm the boss. If you don't do this, I'm going to write you up, kind of thing. You don't have a problem with people not wanting to follow you because you're the boss. You have a problem because you've created ambiguity and lack of belief. Humans want to follow people that they believe in and programs they believe in. They don't want to just be told what to do because that's what you pay them to do.
Yeah. And you got to get the ownership from them. They got to own the idea. They got to own the vision just as much as you do if you're going to get it across the finish line, right? I mean, they've got to own it. You said that just a second ago when I'm committed to it.
Yeah.
They've got to own it. They got to feel it. And the only way to do that is just have great execution, great communication with them. Ask those questions. Like you said, if they're not asking the questions, then you set people up to ask questions because it just spurs their mind and their thinking. And if you ask this question, it'll make somebody else think, oh, I've got another question now. And hopefully people will feel comfortable enough to ask the right questions. But you gotta do it. I mean, when we go into meetings, I've always heard, and I can't remember who said it. It's a quote. You might be able to tell me who it is, but it's a famous general, but I just can't remember his name. But it was, when we go into a meeting and we all sit down, we're going to talk about it. We're going to execute, and we're going to have dialogue back and forth and continue to talk. But when we come up with the idea and everybody agrees that that's the idea, whether it's your idea or somebody else's idea, when we walk out of the room, it's all of our ideas. We all own it, and we're going to execute like it was our idea 100%. But and that's what we need. We got to have that kind of ownership in that part of it. Everybody gets a say and gets to look at it and talk about it. But you got to have that ownership, and you got to have that belief in it.
Absolutely. And if all we're doing is just shoving change, shoving initiatives at people and never giving them the opportunity to hear the why, understand, the reasoning behind things, and then give them an opportunity to ask questions, you're never going to have an opportunity to create ownership.
Yeah, you're right. 100%.
So, if people don't know their part, they're not going to commit to the whole. Sure. So this isn't about, well, they just need to know what they need, only what they need to know.
Sure.
Man, your frontline team members need to know where the company's going, what you're working on this year, what you're working towards next year. They need to know the 10-year vision. They need to know the 3-year plan. They need to know the bigger picture. It's not just about understanding their part of the job or how their part of the job impacts the whole, right? They need to understand the whole picture.
Yeah.
People want to work for organizations that they believe in and that they understand and that they support. Not about just doing the job, okay? So before you push harder on execution, I want you to ask yourself this one question. Do your people actually believe? Plain and simple. And if you can't answer that, then you've got a problem because belief is the bridge between vision and results, period. So you can be casting vision all you want, but if you're not generating believers, if you're not evangelizing people to believe in the vision that you're casting, your execution is always going to fail. Okay, so I'm going to talk really quick about some common belief killers before we kind of get into just a slow, deliberate framework of how you can build this belief inside your organization. All right, and then we'll close out. So first, I just want to say, change without consent or context will kill belief. If you're making changes inside your organization without contextualizing that change or consent through belief and buy-in, That is absolutely going to kill that change 100%. The next thing is if you're casting vision without proof. So I think might have been the last day of the company address or the one prior to that. I don't know. They kind of run together. We've done a lot of them now. But when I was talking about what our initiatives were with new building and all the things that we're doing, I started by pointing back to all the things that we said we were going to do that we have done. We said we would add this. We said we were hiring this. We said we were going here. We said we were going to hit this goal. And we did all those things.
Right.
So that when we cast the next vision, we have proof that when we cast vision, when we say we're going to do these things, we've done them in the past. You can trust and believe that we're going to do them again in the future.
Yeah. It gives them that comfort knowing that, hey, when we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And unless it's just something that's just off the wall that, we had to take back to some degree. But I mean, it's, that proof is, my gosh, that proof is super important.
Yeah. And, we're blessed to be in a position now where we've established kind of a history of proving that we're going to do what we say we can do. So we can, lean back on that. And
that's trust that the team has. That actually helps them with their belief right there as well.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the word trust. When you establish a history of doing exactly what you said you're going to do, whether it's through vision or change management or just whatever, when you as a leader do what you say you're going to do and you develop a history of that, people will trust you.
100%, yes.
Even if you're right, wrong, or indifferent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you can do the wrong thing, but if you do it, what people will trust is that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, right? So I'm not saying that you can be making good decisions or wrong decisions. I'm just talking about people believing and trusting in what you say.
Yeah.
Right? That's important. The other thing that absolutely kills belief is, we mentioned this, is because I said so leadership. Dude, I can't even tell you how frustrating it is when I hear or when I feel that because I said so type leadership. That is a lazy, quick, easy way out of a leader just either coming to me or coming to you and saying, hey, I'm struggling with communicating this. So they just default to, well, because I said so. That's really, really frustrating when I hear that kind of stuff.
Well, when you have that kind of leadership, guess what it is? It's not leadership.
It's not. You're right.
You can be in the front leading. If no one's following you, then you're not a leader. And so that's just kind of where that is. And I've seen that so many times. That's a hard one too for people that don't understand leadership. That's why going through fall that we do to help people become leaders is so important, because it just helps them put different things into context. So if you're not developing your leaders, they're gonna stand on what they know or what they think is the right way to lead. And so that's a big part of it too. You got to make sure that they understand that, it's not just because I said so. You got to lead by example a lot of times. People got to see it in you to be able to buy in. And that's where that buy-in comes from. That's where that trust comes in, because, hey, not only have I heard him say it, but I've seen him do it. And that's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Don't believe what people tell you, believe what they show you.
Yeah.
If your actions aren't matching the words that you're speaking, if your actions don't match the words on the wall that you put on the wall, you're crushing culture and you're crushing belief. We'll leave it at that. And then the last one, the fourth big killer to belief is there's no clear answer to, hey, what does this mean for me? Or with them, right? What's in it for me? What does this mean for me? Or what's in it for me? You have to bring it back to, at the end of the day, people want to know how it impacts them.
Yeah.
Hey, it's cool that you're talking about you want to do this for the company and go here and go there, but you got to bring it back to the individual level. How does that impact that person day to day, right? You got to make it about them.
Yeah, and that's the hard part too, because they want to know how it's going to, like you said, how it's going to impact them, how they're going to feel. Is it going to make my job more stressful? Is it going to make my job less? Because they're going to have that buy-in, they're going to have that belief based off of how it does impact them, and that's a tough thing for some people to get over.
So, look, I'm going to tell you 4 more quick things, okay? But this is kind of like a belief builder framework. If you follow these things, you won't be perfect, but you're going to be well on your way, because belief is not built through pressure. Okay, it's not. You hear pressure makes diamonds, and all those fancy sayings. But at the end of the day, if you don't have belief, pressure will crush people. You cannot create belief through pressure. Belief is only created through clarity and proof. That's it, not pressure. In fact, that's the worst time to apply pressure, is until you have clarity and proof. So slow and deliberate here. The first thing you have to do is really clearly identify if there's a problem. What is the problem?
Right.
That is, why now? What's broken? What's at risk if we don't act, kind of a thing. Like, create the picture of what's the issue here? What's the problem? The next thing is you want to have proof, okay? Point to the data, pilots, examples. For us, a lot of times it's lived experience. We've been through this, and this is what happened. We don't want to go through that again, so that's why we're doing this thing, okay? So that's the proof. The third thing you want to articulate is, all right, what's actually the plan here? What's changing? What's not? What are the steps? What's happening? And that's the third thing. That's the plan. And then the last thing is you got to anchor it with that with them. What's in it? What's in it for me? How does this impact me? And that's part. What part of this impacts me? Like I said it earlier, people have to know their part, their individual part of this grander plan. So it's problem, proof, plan, and part. Those 4 Ps. Slow and deliberate communication. Go back to the 4 stages of communicating belief and buy-in that I talked about, so that you can walk through those 4 things to create and generate that ownership. And you won't have to fight so hard for execution and people following X, Y, Z and 1, 2, 3 if they believe and take ownership for the change or the mission that you're rolling out.
Well, the more people that you get involved in the decision, because you can make the decision. You can make, hey, this is the direction, but there's so much planning. There's so many variables that go into that decision. And so when you start laying it out, if you just do it yourself and say, hey, here's what I'm going to do, and that's just how we're going to execute this. Sometimes they see it, and they may be able to see things that you don't see. A case in point, when we were moving in here, I had my big board at the other place, and so the joke was, if you wanted to know where Wayne was for a while, you just go where the board was. Don't go to his office, because he's going to be at the board. Well, at the board,
if we wanted to know where you were for a while,
yeah,
that was months.
But
Wayne was at the board.
I was at the board, but I was moving things around. I was getting a good visualization. I had this big 8-foot by 12-foot board, or maybe, I think it's 8-foot by 12-foot board that had a complete replica of this building, and put all the equipment in there. And as I was putting in there, it is in a great spot, because we were right beside the conference rooms, and people were constantly coming in and out, and they were looking and seeing. And then we started collaborating and having it. And so, I had the plan, and here's my vision of how the equipment laid out. But then I'd start hearing them, well, what if we did this or did this? The flow, because they're the ones that's actually having to communicate. They're the ones that's actually having to make sure it happens. And so we massaged it and moved it, but they were involved in the plan. And it was still my plan, my layout, but they changed how it worked and made it more effective, right? So it had a huge impact because they were involved in it, and it made the execution better. It also improved and elevated the trust as well, because they knew that I trusted them as much as they trust me.
Those moments created more buy-in and belief in what we were doing than we'll ever be able to say or talk about. Had you not done that, they'd be walking in here and that should be there, and that's why did we do this? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? So
they can't say that now, because they walked through and was like, well, I'm the one that helped do this as well. So we all bought in and did it. And honestly, we haven't really had to move too many things around, or if any.
No, you're 100% right. So I think that's a great place to wrap. Let me just say, remind you again, look, if your execution is failing, it's probably not because of execution. It's probably because of belief. So ask yourself that question. Where is execution failing in my organization? And have I created believers Do not be the leader that just expects execution because you're the boss and that's what you said to do. So, hey, if you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, all the things. Welcome to season 2. Welcome to our new studio. And yes, my eyes are jumping back and forth. I keep having to look down. I look at Wayne for a minute and then I got to look down and away. So we'll fix that one of these episodes, but we love being here. We love talking to you. Thanks for joining us on this journey. And we cannot wait to talk to you next time, where if you're Wayne and I, that'll be in 3 minutes. Yeah. But if not, it'll be in 2 weeks for you. So, exactly. All right. Talk to you soon. Love you guys.
Bye.